Hello and welcome to another edition of the Blind Truth podcast. And today, very, very exciting day. I know I say this all the time, but I've been waiting to get this lady on my podcast forever. I want to introduce you to Nikki Marshall, or as she's known on Facebook, Nikki Marshall was Coppock. She is a serving detective constable in the Northumbria Police, and she's got some lovely stories to tell us. She's now an actress, and a very good one. I know this from personal experience, and I'm really excited for this one. So thanks for joining us, Nick, or Nikki.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us, Phil.
Great to see you as always. So tell us a little bit about Nikki, the child. Where were you born? Where did you grow up?
I was going to say, where do I start? But I'll start from the beginning then. So I was born in Holland, in Rotterdam, in a place called Spijkenisse. My parents are both English, but they decided to go over there for a better life. Actually, I'm not sure about that, but they went over there for work, I think it was.
Right.
And there for a couple of years, and out I popped over there. So I started my life in Rotterdam. I was there only a couple of years, and then we've got this magnetic pull in a place called Jarrow. Most of the locals call it Jarrah.
Is this in the northeast?
This is in the northeast, just outside of Newcastle. Right. And my mum and dad, everywhere they went, they ended up always moving back to Jarrow. Right. So, so we ended up back there, and mum and dad split up when I was only young. I was about 4 or 5.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Wow. And my mum got a new guy, Alan, who became a brilliant stepdad, but I didn't like him at first. It took a long time to accept him.
You go through the old "you're not my dad" syndrome.
Yeah, a lot of that. Flushing clothes down the toilet, throwing them out the window. He had a son, and me and him used to fight like mad, Sam. But then we're kind of bonded, and then we decided we were going to get our parents back, and then we ended up realising by the point that we were nearly getting our parents back for splitting up with our real other parent, we decided we actually liked the family we had now, and then things started to get a bit better. Right. But I did move around quite a lot in my childhood, but every time I went anywhere, I always ended up back in Jarrow. Right.
What's the pull from Jarrow? Is there anything in particular?
God knows. No, actually the people are friendly, and me. They are really friendly over there. But my mum had 2 flats, and initially it was 2 flats, and she rented them out, and then it was converted to a house, and then back to flats, and it's been to and from. My dad had all of these ideas. I think he thought he was a bit of an entrepreneur, and
was he?
You could say that.
Is he a failed entrepreneur?
He tried.
Can you say that on here?
Yeah. But
what's his name? Alan?
Alan, yeah.
Sorry, Alan.
Oh, unfortunately not here, because he's not around anymore, sadly. But
he's passed away?
No, he has.
I'm sorry.
But he gave us quite a few good years as a really good, fun stepdad. And what was great was I still had my real dad there as well. Ended up, everyone was fine. But it was quite funny growing up with him, because he would have an idea, he would want to do this job, and then it would be a case of, like, we're going to do this, we're moving here. We ended up living in a caravan. We ended up moving to this caravan site down south, and then they were all saying, Are you a gypsy or a gouger, they used to say. And I was like, what the hell's a gouger? But they said I wasn't a real gypsy, so the travelling community wouldn't accept me because I was a gouger, which was a person who lives in a house.
So you were actually born in Holland?
Yes.
All right. Rotterdam. I've been to Rotterdam a couple of times.
Yeah.
So have you got dual nationality then? Because you were physically born there. Did you get a passport?
No, I've got a Dutch birth certificate.
Well, that would entitle you to a Dutch passport, surely.
I could. Well,
to give you free travel throughout the EU, for example.
Parents are both British. But I was classed as a British citizen by descent. So, right. So because I was born there, but my parents are both British, then we've come back here. Funnily enough, I've got other family members in Holland, but not. It's just where people ended up going for work and things like that. And we've had ties there, went back for visits and things. And strangely enough, years and years later, fast forward when I was working, years and years later in my early 20s, I met a girl, late teens, actually early 20s, who's Dutch as well, and we were born in the same hospital in Rotterdam, and she's my best mate. I mean, what's the chances of that?
That's incredible.
Yeah.
It's funny how life throws them things up that seem impossible, but they just happen, don't they? So, okay, so you got through school qualifications?
I got through a few schools.
Okay, but at the end, did you have qualifications?
Yes, yeah.
And at what age were you when you thought, you know what, I'm going to be a copper, I'm going to be a policewoman or a detective? What, did you always have detective in mind? Or?
No, I wanted to join the army. That's what, well, actually, prior to wanting to join the army, I wanted to be an actress, of course, didn't I?
Yeah, well, you are an actress.
And I really wanted that from a very young age, but my mum kind of steered us away and said, you know, you need a proper job and a job that you're going to get money from, and that's not unrealistic, and stop dreaming.
It is a tough business, we know that, don't we? Both know that,
but I'm kind of glad the way things worked out.
If it's in there, it's in there. You can't get rid of it.
Oh, yeah, you've got to get that creativity out, don't you?
So what age did you become I take it you started off as a uniform Bobby sort of thing? Or is it Bobbyette or Bobby S?
Yeah, Bobby.
Bobby, okay. Yeah. It's not going to be politically incorrect, you know.
Don't worry about that.
And all that. So what age were you when you joined the police then?
Oh, God, I'm working out the maths now. So it was in October 2020. No, sorry, it was in October 2001 I joined the police.
Right, so 24 years you've been a police officer.
Yeah, wow. So I joined then.
As a probationer at first?
Yeah, I got in first time, which I wasn't expecting. I was quite surprised. I did do the specials, which is the volunteer police for a couple of years before. Just to see give us a bit of a flavour to see if I would like to.
And is that a legitimate pathway to get into the police proper?
No, I wouldn't say it was a pathway to get in. In fact, it hindered some people because some people had a lot of people thought if you've been in and you can prove yourself and show how great you are at your role or how you can do that role, then you would have more chance of getting in.
You would think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and that's what I thought. So I was going down that route thinking that same thing. However, then I met a few people who actually didn't get in, and they thought, now whether this was right or not, is they thought, well, they're getting us for free now. We're doing the role as a police officer for free. Why would they pay?
Yeah.
So a bit of controversy there.
Yeah, but it's a bit like, you join the cadets and then maybe the TA and then the army. It seems rational. Like it seems like a legitimate way to get in, a shoe-in almost. But
I mean, I don't think it hurt, but I think for you as a person, it's good to see if you like being in that kind of environment, that kind of role. And it is different from being in, they used to call it the specials and the regulars. So the regulars was as a police, they used to say proper copper. A proper copper.
A proper
copper, yeah. So I enjoyed being in. I mean, I worked on the Fish Key festivals a few times and had a couple of vehicle stops. I don't think I arrested anybody when I was in the specials, but had a bit of a taste of that kind of police lifestyle.
So was you nervous on your first arrest?
Oh, yeah.
Was you? I've often wondered.
Actually, yes.
What happened? There's a story there, isn't there?
There's always a story, Phil, honestly. Well, my first job with the Blues and Twos, so the police control room grade jobs. So if a job comes in, it's phoned in by somebody, member of the public or somebody else. The graded high 1 is your highest priority and you've got so many minutes to get there on scene. Right. High 2 and then a low grades, a low 3 and a 4, and that's how they grade the calls. Right. So the very first high priority job I got was with me tutor, great guy called Chris, who's an inspector now. Right. And I'm going off and it was a burglary in progress. Okay, so we're in the car, I'm in the passenger seat and we've got the Blues and Twos on, so that's the blue light and the sirens going.
Yeah, the 2-ton siren. Yeah.
And
this is a special now?
No, sorry.
As in the actual force?
This is actually in the regulars, because I don't think I made any arrests in the specials. I took lots of statements and did lots of traffic things, but I don't think I made any arrests.
Oh, you did say that, sorry, go on.
That's fine. So also in the footwell of the police cars, they used to have like a handset, which was in the olden days, even the older days than when I first joined, you'd pick up your handset, press the button and you'd make your calls through actually like a receiver of a phone, the handset. And it's on a cord, a spiral cord. So Chris is saying, Nikki, are you ready? And I'm saying, I'm ready. And he's saying, are you ready? We're going to get to our first job. You do the arrest when we get there and everything. Are you ready? The burglars are still on scene, so are you ready? I'm like, yes, I'm so bloody ready for it. We stop the car and I get out and I open the car door and I go to fly out and I'm ready. I'm ready for whatever I'm faced with. And I'm faced with this. And I thought, what the hell is that? Or only the cord of the phone wrapped around my ankle, and I got out of the car and fell into the gutter, literally. So by the time I get myself up and untangled, the burglars are off. So I didn't get my first arrest there, but that would have been my first arrest.
Oh my days, what a baptism of fire that was.
Yeah, it kind of went like that for a few years. I was a very naive, gullible young woman when I joined the police. And
really? Wow.
Some say I'm still like that now, but
well,
if you speak to my family, they'll say I have matured quite a lot since joining.
So the day came around where you realised you're about to make your first arrest.
Yeah.
What was the offence, if you're allowed to say?
Well, actually, it was for a murder, believe it or not.
Your first one was a murder?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that must have been double scary then.
Yeah, it was. A lot
I assume
of
it was a
pressure.
bloke. He's already murdered somebody potentially.
It was, but I actually had a lot of empathy for him, which might sound crazy, but
for the guy.
For the circumstances were so different, yeah.
Well, and plus, at that point, nothing's proven. He's only a suspect, isn't it?
That's right.
So,
innocent until proven guilty.
And all that crap, yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us about how you were feeling. Was there a point where you think, I'm going to have to read him his rights here and cuff him?
Yeah.
You must be thinking, oh God.
Yeah, well, it was, and I knew it was a big job. I knew it was going to be one that's going to go to court. I knew it was like a lot of pressure. There was detectives coming in back then. Detectives, you really looked up to them because they were the old school. They knew exactly what you were doing. They were doing.
Plain clothes mob.
Yeah, I never thought I would ever make that role back then.
But you do now, don't you?
Sometimes I still wonder how, but I did.
Give yourself some credit. 24 years in the job, you've done something right, haven't you?
Yeah, it has been.
So
career.
You told him, right, so you're under arrest on suspicion of murder.
Yeah. So what it was, it was a domestic abuse household, and it's usually, as we know, I mean, domestic abuse can happen to males or females or anybody.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But most people believe that it's just the women who are the victims.
They just assume that.
You assume that.
Yeah.
Mind the statistics, I'll get my teeth back in, do show that it's mainly the women. The majority of DV arrests are male perpetrators. However, that's not always the case.
Yeah.
So you've got to be open-minded. And this man, the reason I had so much empathy for him was because he went through a horrific time. I mean, I wasn't aware of this at the point of making the arrest. I found out some of it later, but he did say something to us at the time. Basically, he'd went through a lot of abuse of this woman, his partner, for years and years and years, decades even. She isolated him from his whole family. He didn't have anyone around him. He was broken. He was a big stature, and physically he was a big guy.
Doesn't make any difference.
No, it doesn't. No. But he was kind of downtrodden, and this had went on for years and years and years. And little by little, he'd lost part of his personality and who he was and everything. And he just lost it. I mean, he was covered in cigarette burns and all sorts. She was physically and mentally and emotionally abusive to him. And this went on for such a long time. Everyone's got their breaking point. He just got up one evening and snapped, and he put a pillow over her and suffocated her. You see,
the problem with doing it that way, if it wasn't in the proceeds of an argument, it becomes almost pre-med, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You see, I would find that a lot harder to accept.
Yeah.
If they'd had yet another occasion where she's attacking him, and he lashes out and she bangs her head or whatever, dies. I'd have a bit more truck with that. But this is like he's laid there, just had an internal snap, it sounds like, and decided to kill her and then killed her.
I know, and it's murder. It will kind of get away from it, so he has to be punished.
Of course, because it's never the answer.
Yeah, it's just. I did have empathy for him because I think all of those years of all of the abuse he went through put up with so much, and then yes, he did snap.
At a flashpoint, it would have more legs, I think, but to decide in the middle of the night or whatever it was to just, pillar and bye-bye. I mean, the old argument, I've heard this 1,000 times myself, it's usually, as you say, the woman is the victim more often than not, although I don't think it's as far apart as people think.
That's true.
why don't you just leave, love? It's not as simple as that.
No, it's not.
It just isn't.
No.
It's very easy to generalise that, isn't it?
Of course it is. It's easy for people to say that
who
when
not,
they've not
who
been
are not in that.
situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
like
Mike Tyson. You know, the hardest, he used to say about Mike Tyson, he could beat every man on earth and half the gorillas, didn't he?
Well, he didn't beat Jake Paul, did he? Because I watched that one.
Well, that was
a setup, though,
that
wasn't
a real fact. Mike Tyson in his prime was brought to his knees by a 7-stone woman.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? With accusations and all the rest of it. So whether he did it or not, according to the courts, he did, but I don't believe it personally.
Yeah.
And I have actually met the man as well.
Have you?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Wow.
And he's. Yeah, you know, it's irrelevant really about how it was with me, but I don't believe he did it. I don't, honestly.
No, I'm not convinced.
Well, for her to press charges, the story, I don't know if you've got the same one I got, was he was a judge in a Miss Black America competition.
Right.
And she was one of the contestants.
Okay.
She went back to his hotel room willingly at 3 o'clock in the morning. What did she think he had in mind? A game of fucking tiddlywinks or what? Who knows? But, you know, it's pretty obvious what he's got in mind, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then,
I mean, you can't say no at any point, though, Phil.
No, absolutely. I totally agree with that. But she didn't press charges for 3 weeks after. The day after, she found out she hadn't won the competition of which he was a judge.
Right.
That's got to. I mean, that stinks to high heaven, surely.
Looks suspicious, yeah.
And then and also he got 6 years in Indiana. And after 2 years, he was told, this is my understanding, I've had this on pretty good authority, he was told, hold your hands up now in court on your appeal and you're going home. And he said, no, I'll serve the whole lot. I'll never say I did it. And he went back to prison.
Yeah.
That says something, doesn't it?
Did he serve his full sentence?
No, he came out after 4 years. But he was offered to be released after 2 if he just admit it. And he wouldn't.
And she never backed down, though?
No. But she's disappeared since, though, apparently.
Right.
I don't mean shallow grave disappeared. I mean she's just backed away from the spotlight. You know. I felt sorry for the guy. I've got to be honest, because he's a very clever man by all accounts. Very highly intelligent, more than most people may think. But he did do himself no favours.
Yeah.
You know, some of the things he said in court apparently were pretty stupid at best.
I didn't really follow all of it, to be fair.
I did,
but
yeah. So, miscarriage of justice. I've had a chap in here, sat right where you are, only 6 weeks ago, who served 11 years and 43 days for murder that he didn't do.
Wow.
Michael O'Brien.
Yeah.
Shout out, Mikey. Hope you're doing all right, mate.
Hello, Mikey.
And he had a horrendous story. He said, in his own words, I was a little bugger in Cardiff in Wales. And they were out nicking cars. He said, so I was no angel, but I got a knock on the door the next morning and was arrested for murder. Me and 2 friends that we were out nicking cars together.
Right.
Never even met this guy, local news agent. And in a whirlwind of events, before he knew it, he was found guilty and sentenced to life with a minimum of 14 years.
Right.
And he did 11 years and 43 days of fighting. But again, in some ways, he did himself no favours because he wouldn't obey any rules because he knew he shouldn't be there. So he decided to take a stand, dug his heels in, you know, get to yourself, no, get to association, no. He just would refuse anything they told him. And he made himself a lot of enemies in that respect.
Right.
But he was proved innocent. You know, without doubt.
It's scary, isn't it? That is
yeah.
really scary. I mean, I've got no doubt that there are some innocent people.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
However, I have been on the other side of it where you go to court with cases and, I mean, I'm not the judge and jury. I can't say if someone's guilty or not.
Of course
but
not.
if I'm looking at the evidence I've collected and it's overwhelming evidence and I truly believe in my gut, you know, this is beyond all reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
I believe they've committed that
walk.
crime and the walk.
Oh.
Now, that's the worst. That is awful.
As a police officer, that's got to be the most frustrating thing. Or perhaps even worse, they get found guilty and get nothing more than a slap on the hand for something they should have got a bit of time for.
Do you know, I'm not so much because I've got no control over that. And I guess I've got no control over the first scenario either. But at least if I know they've been proven and found guilty, that's against their name forever. So regardless whether it's a slap on the wrist, that's always going to be there. But if they walk free, then they get in their mind, oh, well, I've got off at this time. And they might be a bit cautious for a little while, but can bet your bottom dollar in a couple of years or months or whatever, they start to feel a little bit more relaxed again. They'll start committing the same kind of offences yet again. And I've seen that before. And I bet that is not good. No.
So have you got any, we will get onto your acting shortly, by the way, but just in your police life for a moment, if that's okay. What's your high and low points? What's the most, the happiest outcome you've ever, is that the right way of putting it?
Well, the best job satisfaction is when you put if you go to court and you've seen the case through from the beginning, from interviewing your victims, your witnesses, gathering all your evidence, collecting your forensics, everything that you've got, putting the file together at the CPS, all of this takes a lot of time. And then getting that through court and then getting what you believe is the right. And don't get us wrong, Phil, if there's a case where there's plenty of people who have investigated where I'm not I don't just think everybody's guilty, I absolutely don't. I look at everything. We're meant to be impartial, you're meant to be...
but are you truly impartial? Or is there not an instinctive gut feeling about certain people?
Well, there is, but you've got to put your preconceived ideas to one side.
Because you're only human at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, the department I work in, it's called CAP now, it's child and what the hell's it called? Sorry. It changes the name that often. I've been there that long, but it changes the name. Child and Adult Protection, but basically it's child protection and vulnerable adults. I mean, we deal with some crazy kind of jobs, we really do. We deal with some jobs where you're just getting parents who come to the end of their tether and they can't cope and they snap and they might have smacked their kids or hit them a bit harder, more than chastisement. And you feel for them people. That's totally different to some horrible, nasty, awful person who's gone round and he's sexually abusing kids or physically hurting them, neglecting them.
There's been some horrendous cases of child supportive services or whatever you call CMS, whatever it is, where they've just not done the job right. I mean, I've seen it. It's been proven in court. So I'm not slandering anybody, but I know there's people out there that do a great job. There must be.
Yeah.
But when it goes wrong, it's spectacularly wrong.
Absolutely.
Isn't it? And it results in the death of a child very often. It's got to be horrendous.
You've got to be so careful because, I mean, we've had Baby P, Vittoria Columbi.
Yeah, that's what I was referring
to. So many children who, like you say, have lost their life, and there's been oversights on lots of different people's parts. Other times, you just wish there was more done. I work closely with social services because we go out and do like joint visits in schools if a child's made a disclosure. Some of the social workers I've worked with are brilliant, really good, and they work well together, they're sensible. Other times you are banging your head against a brick wall a little bit and you want them to do more.
SOPs, standard operating procedures, are all well and good, aren't they? But I think when it's just like a rigid filtering system, I think things can fall through the cracks, can't they? Just the odd one can...
Definitely. And people have got massive workloads, and I know really it's not an excuse, but it is the reality because you've got so many cases. I mean, recently I had 32 cases, and you're not talking about a theft or a damage, you're talking about really high priority cases, major
32
crime.
In one go.
I did, yes. Currently I think I've got about 26, and you lose track of where you're going, and you don't know your arse from your elbow.
You must confuse one with the other.
Some of them can be quite similar.
Wow. So it's understandable that things get conflated and get confused. It's got to do, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. So what's your most embarrassing moment as a copper?
Oh, I've had a few.
Have you?
So starting at training school, actually. They did scenarios, and you'd be walking along, you'd have your radio attached to you, and they'd bring actors in, and funny enough, I do a few of them roles with them now. So they bring actors in, and they'll say, if you want a vehicle check, so I would approach a vehicle, and I would shout through the control room, which is M2LB, from then your collar number, your police number, so you'd shout your number and say LB, can I have a vehicle check? So this time, they said, yes, pass the VRM, so that's the vehicle registration mark, the registration number. And
I thought, index anymore.
Shit, no, we don't. And I just thought, shit, I can't remember the phonetic alphabet. And I thought, well, just improvise rather than just, rather than making it up. So I said,
Isn't that the same
thing?
thing?
I think it was Papa 1 4 5 apple banana pear.
Did you have to do that as well?
I did, but it was I can't remember exactly what I said, but it was a couple of fruits. It was the first thing that came to my mind. And then they come back, and I could almost hear the sniggering at the other end, and they were saying, said my collar number, and they said, is your radio secure so we can pass information? Is your radio secure? And I said, yeah, well, I think so, LB. It's attached to me belt. And later, when we did the debrief, they were saying, secure means secure, as in there's no one around.
Safe to talk.
And go back and learn your phonetic alphabet. And then my very first duty day as well. It went, honestly, at the start, I don't know how I got through my probation, but I was wandering around and I was in the marked police vehicle, and you have your 10 weeks with a tutor.
Yeah.
This is after 19 weeks of training at training school. Then you come in, you do a couple of days just to see what it's like. Then you're back at training school another couple of weeks. And then I went out, I was with me tutor. I'd passed me course to drive me police car on my own. And that's it. You're out by yourself. And I'm thinking, holy shit. This is it. I'm going to a job on my own. Car. So I'm driving around and I'm like, right, you're thinking about using your radio, getting directions to your first job, dealing with the job properly, doing everything right, shouting up on the radio, knowing what you're doing, everything. You've got to remember the public's watching you all the time, so their perception of you. So I went at the job. I can't really remember what it was. It was something quite minor, but I went and I come out feeling quite proud of myself. Yeah, I did it all. I filled out the right paperwork. Right, brilliant. I'm going back to the police station now. I've done my first job on my own. Tick in the box. All right. Where's my police car? Oh, shit.
Where's your police car?
My police car. Bearing in mind it's marked. It's got the blue lights on.
It's not been nicked.
Well, I've walked up and down the streets. I'm like, don't be silly. You haven't lost it. It's just, I'm just thinking, I can't remember where I've parked. So I'm walking around. And after half an hour, this is getting a bit ridiculous. And I'm starting to think they'll be wondering where I am coming back. Yeah. So I bumped into a lass I used to work with years ago. Hey, hi Nikki, how are you doing? I was like, fine, Trent. It's lovely to see you like this. Where are you off to now? And I was like, I'm looking for my police car. So I sent her looking for it. She was saying, I can't believe you've lost your police car. And I was like, I just don't know where it is. And then I thought, you know what? This is an initiation test. This is what they're doing. They've hidden it, haven't they? Because there's two sets
Someone's
of keys.
Come and took it away.
They've come and took it. So reluctantly, very reluctantly, I'm thinking, I'm going to have to shout up over the radio. And now we have a system called point-to-point where you can just go from one person to another.
Right, yeah.
Back then you couldn't get over the air and everybody can hear.
Yeah,
so I'm like, oh, it's me. And then I reported me car missing, and I really genuinely thought it was a joke. No, it wasn't. I just couldn't find it. I'd walked off the wrong direction because I've got no sense of direction.
So had it been nicked?
No, I just had walked the wrong way and couldn't find it. Yeah. So I felt about that big when I come out of the house feeling really proud. And I got back in the police station feeling about that big.
Totally deflated.
Yeah.
Oh, God. How long did it take you to live that one down?
Until this incident that I don't know if I should tell you, but I'll tell you.
Just be careful and don't say anything that's, is it a long time ago?
Yeah, a long time ago. And I think the whole of Northumbria police know this. It'll definitely be at my retirement due. So we have a lady who has mental health problems, bless her.
Yeah. She
phones the police often and she always says, I'm about to kill myself. You'll have to come and stop us now. This went on for a long time. Very well known, I'm obviously not going to say her name, but would be like, right, we're going to her house and we need to go and check on her. We know in the back of our mind, you don't want to get complacent, but I've been to this house like 4 or 5 times already in the last couple of months. I know she's going to be sitting at the pub drinking, but you've still got to go. So I'm with a colleague. It's in the middle of February, January time, really cold, snowing. And we'll pull up at the house. Of course, we knock at the door. There's no reply. So we'll get the enforcer and bosh the door in. That's not the correct term, but we'll open the door. We'll go in. We'll look around the property. She's not there. We're phoning her. We're trying to reach her. So in the meantime, we have to get the council to come and board up the property because we can't leave the property insecure. So I'm waiting with my colleague outside in the car. This is like maybe 11, 12 at night. And I'm saying, yeah, Niall, I need the loo. And he went, all right. He went, just hang on. And I said, well, the police station's only a mile away. Can you just get out of the car, stand outside, because you've got to make sure the scene's secure until it's boarded back up.
Of course, yeah.
So I'm like, please just let me take the car. I'm dying for a wee. Actually, I really needed a poo, but I didn't want to tell him that. So I said, please, just stay here. And he wouldn't. So ages went by, we're still waiting. And I'm like, I really need to go to the toilet. And
he went, used hers.
Just go in hers. And I went, all right then. So I was like, well, keep toot for us. So give us a shout. So I go in the house. And I'm going back up, and I thought, oh no. And then I thought, I don't want to sit on the toilet because, you know,
well, you never
so
know.
I'm trying to hover. There's no toilet roll, and there's loads of things going through my mind. And I'm like, oh, I can't believe my life's come to this. I'm squatting having a number 2, you know, in someone's house. And on duty.
You just kick the door down.
Well, then I heard, I'm not going to make the noise, but I heard bang, bang, bang. And I thought, well, what the hell is that? So I'm trying to shout at my colleague on the radio, nothing. I continue to hear the banging. Well, obviously I needed to sort myself out before I could leave. And I wasn't going to not wash my hands and stuff. So I took a couple of minutes, and by the time I went downstairs, went to open the door, I'm thinking, well, what the hell is the matter? So I went into the sitting room, looked out the window. Oh, the council were only then that boarded us in the house while I was having a shite.
No.
Oh, I swear to God.
So now you can't get out?
So I'm knocking on the window and I'm saying, please let us out. And they looked really confused. And they were saying, what are you doing? And I said, I was just looking for a medication. And then I thought, I'm going to kill him. So I get back to the police car, and I'm like, I'm going to throttle him.
Why did you tell him?
Oh, because he was snoring. He was fast asleep.
Nah.
I swear to God, honestly.
Too many donuts.
That is my most embarrassing police moment. It really was.
God.
So, yeah, I'll not live that one down.
So you're specialised in hostage negotiation too, aren't you?
Yeah, recently. Well, November 2023.
I remember you doing it.
Yeah, brilliant.
You did it in Manchester?
In Manchester, yes. In,
Openshaw?
No, what's the police station?
Ashton-under-Lyne?
I think it begins with S, possibly. E, I can't remember the police headquarters.
In Prestwich it was.
How can't I remember
Shire Hill? No, not Shire Hill.
Oh.
It's gone, don't worry.
Yeah,
I know what
gone.
you mean. Yeah.
But it was really good, yeah.
So you've done some of them as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I really enjoy that. Crisis and hostage negotiating.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's good stuff. You've been out to a few live ones already, haven't you?
Oh, yes, and thankfully all my people have remained live, which is
good on you.
Really good, touch wood.
So you guys don't get enough credit for the stuff you do, police. You've got a pretty bad rep, haven't you, by and large?
Can do. But you know what? You've just got to have very thick skin.
I know, but it's got to be a little bit gaudy when you've really pulled your tripes out to do something good, and you still get pelters off people. You still get, tarred with the brush of the odd bad one. Because to be honest, there's some twatty coppers out there. There really is.
Yeah, I've met a few over the years. Thankfully, not so much in the department I work in. They're all really good in that department.
But the police generally, you know yourself, I had an incident not that long ago, and I was being threatened and harassed. And it took them 11 days to return my call.
Yeah.
I mean, that's unacceptable.
It is.
I'm disabled, as you know, and I'm vulnerable.
Yeah.
11 days.
Yeah.
And it's easy to just focus on that. If I go home today and my house has been burned, well, I'm phoning the police.
Yeah, of course.
If someone puts a bottle over my head in the street, I'm phoning the police. Yeah. So we have to respect and appreciate them, I think. We have to do.
I agree.
Agreeing that there are some twats in them as well. There is.
I think it's such a shame because, I agree, there are some people who shouldn't be doing that job.
Yeah.
Thankfully, they're few and far between. And the ones I've really seen, thinking back, are a long, long time ago. I'm going back maybe 1-2 decades ago. So I haven't met any that I don't believe should be in the role within the last 10, 20 years. I really haven't. Everyone I've met, they're well-meaning. They might be overworked. They might have too much on, so they're not at the standard that they would like to be at. But genuinely, the people I work with are decent.
The best of intentions.
Yeah, absolutely. However... Wow. I've met some knackers back in the day, but they're not in anymore. Oh, yeah. I've witnessed a cop punch somebody that was handcuffed before. Not acceptable.
That's
but
unacceptable.
Thankfully he wasn't in the police much longer after that. So.
In any circumstances, that's just cowardice,
isn't it? You know. But I'm also a member of the public, and I also know how frustrating it is when you phone or ask for help or you're waiting and stuff. Yeah. Because I have been on that side as well. But just one thing. We had an intruder at our property. I might have told you. I'm not sure if I have.
Yes.
Yeah, well, kind of. It was what happened. We've got a trailer tent, so we'll go to festivals and stuff, and we'll open this trailer tent. It's a bit better than a tent, but
I'm
off the ground, but not as good as a camper van. It's the in-betweeny thing.
It keeps you away from the rats and stuff.
Let's not go there.
Yeah, sorry.
That's me. Non-negotiables, okay.
Yeah, let's not discuss that.
So we'll have this trailer tent open, and it's always pissing it down when you're packing up your camp gear. So we'll come home and we'll open the trailer tent out and we'll let it air out, okay? So we're doing this. So this one night I'm in the house and I've had to get cameras on my property because we have had burglars out of our property before.
Yeah.
Not in the house, but outside on the outhouses and stuff. So anyway, I could hear something, and our porch was open. I could hear something in the porch and I could hear something outside. What the hell? So go downstairs. So we're creeping downstairs to see what's going on and have a look. And I've got some guy lying asleep in my trailer tent, like a really big guy, which is right on my door, like right outside my front door.
Right.
So, well, actually, just for my own protection, I have I do stage combat, so for acting. So I have a bow staff that I've actually worked with, but just because I was walking outside to check, and I'm a female, and not that I'm playing on that, but I had my bow staff, and when he didn't move, I did give him a prod with my bow staff, okay?
Because he might have been dead, mightn't he?
Well, I didn't know who he was, and I said, "Excuse me, you've got the wrong place." No answer. So this goes on a little while, and then he tells us to fuck off out of his house.
What?
Yeah, so I had rang the police and they said, "Oh, do not approach him, go back in your house, lock the doors and we'll be out." So 45 minutes passed, nothing, and I thought, do you know, I can't really settle because we've had stuff nicked from my property before, and like I want him out. So anyway, the police never did come that night.
Did they know you was a serving officer?
I'm not sure if I had said or not. I might not have. I don't advertise it really because
we
shouldn't have any special treatment. It should be the same for everyone.
Yeah, of course.
But anyway, I couldn't get him out. Long story short, I ended up walking my burglar home and putting him to bed because I'm bothered about him getting home safe and sound. And as it turns out, it was like a young lad who was really lovely, come from a nice family, who had been to a rugby bloomin' do, got tanked up and gone to the wrong house and fell asleep in our house. So, but I ended up walking him home because I thought he's so drunk he's going to fall in the road and get run over, and I'm not having that on my conscience. So I ended up walking him home. So my son come with us because he said, "I don't want you going by yourself, Mum." Yeah, so he walked with us. And this lad kept saying, "I live in that house." So I was trying keys and loads of doors, couldn't find the bloody house. So finally got him in the house and put him in.
Wow, bloody hell.
Yeah, and then his mum and dad brought him to the house next day with a bottle of wine or something, or some sort of booze and chocolates to say sorry. And they were really nice people, actually, they really were. So it was quite funny in the end.
Yeah, all's well that ends well,
but, yeah.
So, moving off from your police career then. You are a taekwondo performer.
Yes.
Well, what belt status do you have?
I'm a second dan black belt.
Are you really?
I am, yes.
I do recall you sending me a clip a couple of years ago of you in action.
Oh, which clip was that?
When I saw you belt the bejesus out of some poor girl on the mat. I think you knocked her out, actually.
Was that at a competition?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Very impressed with it, actually.
Oh, thank you.
I'm a martial artist myself, as you know, and it was phenomenal. Really, really good. It wasn't just that you knocked her out, it was the technique and you were very technical. It was really good. It's really good. So how long have you been doing taekwondo?
Oh, so I started, so I've got a son called Lewis who's almost 21, a daughter called Katie who's nearly 19, and I had Katie, and I think she was about 2-year-old, and I took Lewis, my son, as an activity for me and him to do together.
Right.
Thought you would enjoy it. Actually, I used to do karate as a kid, and it was advertised as karate, and I went to the class, and the instructor kept saying, you've done karate before, It wasn't until the 4th session that I realised he wasn't complimenting us that I thought he was, saying, you've done it before, you're good. He was saying, and basically I was in a taekwondo class, not a karate class, and he was telling me the movements were totally different. But he taught both, and it hadn't been changed on the timetable, so I thought I was in a karate class, and I wasn't. I was in taekwondo.
So you stuck with it though?
I did, yes. I am a believer in if I start something, I'll see it right through the end. Right. Yeah, I'm quite a determined person. I'm not the most capable, but even if I'm not capable...
I don't know, give yourself some credit. You've got some real achievements, haven't you? Do you know what I mean?
I've got a lot of drive, and I really try.
Second dan black belt taekwondo, detective for 24 years and counting, hostage negotiator. You must have been literally saved people's lives. Give yourself some credit, It's amazing, Nick, it really is.
Thank you.
So, great stuff. And of course, underriding all of that, your passion is for acting.
Absolutely, it is.
Right.
Yeah.
So where are you with that? I know you've got a brilliant
I don't know. You tell me.
Same as everywhere else at the moment. They're sat at home waiting for the phone to ring.
Well, do you know what? I really enjoy it. Yeah. I really do. It's something I've wanted to do the whole of my life, and.
Well, you're very good at it, and I can attest to that.
I really
absolutely.
Appreciate that.
It's the truth. I only say it's the blind truth. I'll do the blind.
Are you saying that because you're?
Because I'm your agent, maybe.
Not because you're blind, though. No.
No. Well, a compliment from me about a woman's looks is absolutely worthless. Tell someone, you're gorgeous. Because thank you. Say, but I am blind.
Actually, I must tell you a little something though. The girls at work had a giggle. So when I sent you the tape, the Psycho tape, and I said to you, I really want to role play Psycho at one point.
Yeah.
Because nearly all of the acting stuff I do are very authoritative figures. And I play them probably quite well because I feel like I'm not acting so much. Right. So like I said to you, I want to be a psycho at some point. And I sent you a little clip. Do you remember?
And we've shot it properly.
Yeah, we've shot it properly since. But when I sent you the little clip and I said to you, what do you think? And you come back to us and your voice note, I loved it. And it was really moving. And you said, that's one of the best things I've ever seen in a long time. It's great. And I said to the girls, I was smiling and they said, what are you smiling about? And I said, well, listen to what my agent said. And I pressed the button and I listened and they went, oh, great. And then they said, someone turned around and went, isn't he blind though? I was like, oh, right, thanks.
Cheers for that.
But obviously, I know.
When it's backlit, I can see it.
Yeah. No, I understand that, obviously.
And I've got peripheral vision in one eye.
And there's a lot of people, I guess, who, when you're registered blind, you've still got some level of sight, isn't it?
Only 2% of people that are registered blind are actually completely blackout blind, as it's called.
Yeah.
98% have some kind of vision, like me.
Of course. They just thought it was funny because I hadn't explained that and then I turned around.
Of course, yeah, compliment from me is absolutely worthless. That's what they think, isn't it? But that's why I know you're a phenomenal actress. I know that. And we've done it in here since and weirdly enough, right here.
Right there, yeah.
And to this day, if I watch your show reel back, when you pull that knife out of that settee and the way you look back at the camera, I mean, half of my spine, as you know, has been replaced with titanium rods and it still shivers. It does, it really does. It's a phenomenal look. You literally change how you look. It's incredible. It really is.
Thank you very much. That means a lot. Coming from you, it actually means a lot.
It's absolutely the truth. I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. I think you do know that about me. So
yeah.
So we are plugging away, rest assured. But what's your favourite bit of acting you've done so far? You don't have to include anything that I've done with you. Don't worry. Don't include any extra stuff you did in the early days.
I know, yeah.
A character.
Cause,
and certainly not a game show either.
No, I have had a good time with the students in the NFTS. I know. Really wonderful people. Honestly, their calibre, their professionalism, second to none.
Yeah.
I couldn't fault National Film Television School. They were brilliant. I've been 2 times, as you know, but I'll not go on about that. But I did win. But I did win the game show, might I just point out, and it was based on personality traits. So I think that needs a mention, really.
Tell us about it. Yeah, absolutely.
It was fab. But you know, I did really. I've enjoyed loads of different things, really. I've played a witch quite recently, and it was. She was like a head witch, and she had spells and things. So that was a different character to get your teeth sunk into.
Note to self, you didn't tell me about that. But anyway,
I did actually.
I know you did. Go on.
So that was interesting. But, you know, I did Emmerdale, and I know it was only a very small role, but a small speaking part and featured, and I enjoyed that. Because
it's acting. It is acting.
Yeah, and I enjoyed being on the soap, I think, as well, because it's something different, isn't it? And that was nice. The cast and the crew were lovely, and it was nice seeing how everything come together on a big set as well. I did enjoy that. You know, I did the Ken Loach movie as well, and he, as a director, he's such a lovely guy. He's a genuinely lovely person. I actually went to that audition. I did that audition before I come to you, actually. And I wasn't even sure if I was speaking or what I was doing, and when I got there, the mic was up and I had quite a bit of speaking in it, but it was all improv. Which,
did you do it with lip mics?
I had like a little mic up underneath my collar, and it was really good because the scene was the main guy was delivering parcels, and I had to challenge him, and I was a traffic warden, and I'm telling him that you can't park there, and this is in the middle of Newcastle city centre on a lunchtime. So you can imagine you've got all the workers, all the students, everyone out, and I had Newcastle Gateshead finest coming up to us and saying, "Yeah, man, can you fucking just leave him alone? Stop being a dubsmart, you know, he's just delivering his fucking parcel, like." And they had all these people, and this is what Newcastle's like, not the bit where I'm from, and they'll come over and they didn't want, they thought I was a real traffic warden, giving this parcel delivery guy shit. So we were just acting our part, and the members and the public, all right, just joining in and all this, and what a bitch she is. So it was really funny. It was good.
For the record, I've probably told you this before, I lived and worked in Newcastle for quite a while.
Yeah.
I worked at the Swan Hunters shipyard.
Yeah, not too far from me.
I worked at Swan Hunters, and I lived in Whitley Bay.
Posh end. Jane.
Jane. Yeah, back in the day, it was a long time ago. It was 1984.
Right.
It's a long time, 85. And I stayed and lived for a while in a B&B above a pub called Churchill's in Whitley Bay, because it was a short drive to the shipyard.
Yes, that's Churchill's, isn't it?
Yeah, Churchill. Yeah.
Yes.
Really good. I enjoyed it. I love Newcastle, actually. I really do.
Yeah.
Not keen on the football team.
Oh, well.
Are you a Geordie football supporter?
Do you know, to be honest,
Mackem?
I'm definitely not Mackem.
So,
I don't like football that much. I'm not bothered. My dad supports Newcastle, so I would go for Newcastle because of him, but I've never been to a football match ever.
You're joking? Do you want to come and see the best team in the world with me one time?
Who is it?
Man City, of course.
Man City, did you say?
Cut!
I'm joking.
No, I'm only joking.
I would go to a football match. I've been to a few rugby ones.
No, weird shaped ball and stuff. It's just,
it's just squished.
I played rugby once in my life. Just once, when I was young and thin. Very quick. No muscles. I think I was about 11 stone. Right. And I was doing really, really well. And then somebody passed me the ball.
And did you not know what to do with it?
I just got flattened.
Oh, potato.
Literally, when I got up after this measured 40 odd stone combined finally decided to let me get up, there was a full impression of me on the floor. I'm not even joking.
Oh dear.
I was flattened. And I thought, fuck that, really. I'm not doing that again. I was not built for rugby.
Yeah.
No. But it's all right. I mean, the rugby lads are hard enough to roller skate on, aren't they? I mean, Jesus Christ, you don't mess with rugby boys, do you?
Paul used to play American football, but then the rugby lads say the American football's up. pussies. That's what they say, don't they? You didn't like that.
Well, that brings me nicely. I was going to mention Paul, your husband.
Yeah.
How long have you been married to Paul now?
Oh, 25 years on June.
It is time to get rid of him, you know that, don't you? I'm only joking, Paul. Sorry, mate. I'm not waiting in the wings or anything.
Well, that's not a compliment because he's blind.
Yes, I can't even see you, don't worry.
But you can that close. Paul would say, you can hear her though, and that's bad enough.
One of my many failed chat-up lines with many people is, my eyesight's that bad, I have to be close enough to either punch him or fuck him to be able to see him. If I'm not close enough, then I can't see him. So
I'll punch you if you say that, mate.
No, I wouldn't, you know that. Yeah, many people think I would, but I wouldn't. Not really. But so yeah, how's Paul doing?
Yeah, fine. Yeah. Enjoying a day at home at the minute because he's been busy all week.
Is he still a Viking?
Yeah, at heart he thinks he is. He's looking after his ferret sitting today because I was going to bring them, but
you should have done.
I did think about that. So,
yeah. But, Paul's a big hairy hunter guy, and he's lovely. He's a great actor actually, and he's I really love Paul a lot. I do. He's awesome. And so in fact, while we're talking about Paul, I'll put a picture up here for you to see him yourself, if that's okay. And this is Paul. He's Marshall, isn't he? Obviously, yeah, of course he is. Why do you have that on your Facebook? Was Coppock?
Oh, well, because Marshall's a common name, I guess. I don't.
Not really.
Do you know what? I think it created itself when I'm not very technical, and I think when I put me previous surname in when I first created the Facebook account, I think it just come up with was Coppock. I think it did, but it was that long ago. I can't remember.
Decision then from you?
I don't think so.
Wow.
But someone at work said it was a while ago, oh, Nikki, you're so like fun and bubbly and it's really nice. Even your Facebook says Nikki Marshall was cock-a-hoop. And I said, oh, no, it's not. That's actually me. Because if I'm... I was like, it really isn't. That's me maiden name, Coppock. Even I can't even say it myself. Coppock. Yeah. Just the accent.
Depends on your accent, I suppose. Yeah. So, okay, so this time in 5-6 years, you're going to retire from the police?
Sorry, they've been wonderful, but yes.
Without wanting to give your age away, so that's, yeah. And then what? Hopefully you'll be a full-time actor?
Hopefully I'll be in Hollywood. I mean, I've been at Hollyoaks, I've worked on Hollyoaks, I've worked in Bollywood.
Right, so
let's do Hollywood.
So let's just combine them, yeah. Absolutely.
Not Bollyoaks though. That'll be my look. It'll be Bollyoaks. That would be nice. Do you know what, Phil? I'm going to get a little camper van, and what I'm going to do is I'll come here more as well, and I'll come to some of your classes and stuff.
Oh, good.
And I'll have the life of Riley because you can get us some jobs on the way as well, and I can just pop in and then I can sleep in my van and go back when I feel like it.
Sounds good. Great. Sounds good, yeah. We'll have ditched Paul by then, won't we? Only joking, mate. So, yeah, sounds good. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
So, what's your ultimate, what would you consider to have made it? What job would it take for you to consider I've made it as an actress?
Do you know what? Sorry, I'm just adjusting these because I feel like they're slipping.
That's all right.
It might sound corny, but I feel like I've already achieved what I've wanted to achieve, kind of. I really do, because I think in 2018 I went on set for the first time. And I loved it.
Wow.
Yeah. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Oh, except for I walked a dog on Biker Grove when I was a kid.
Biker Grove?
Yeah.
Is it Biker Grove?
Yeah. It's back, you need to get us on there.
Has it started production?
Well, apparently, I haven't heard of anything going on, but you need to get us as a teacher or something on there.
I heard it was going on, but I've not heard anything started.
Apparently it is, but then it's been very quiet.
Yeah, we'll have a look, yeah.
But, yeah, other than that, so 2018, and I know it's just extra work, supporting artist work, to be politically correct, but I did meet Jason Momoa, though, Aquaman, on my very first time on set. So I can't disregard that.
Aquaman!
And then, because I'm not formally trained as an actor, so for me being on set, It was just about seeing how things come together, watching.
Yeah.
I love watching it back. I watch television totally differently now. Totally appreciate everything, all of the work that's gone in, all the continuity, everything. Honestly, you really do, as you know. And but the second job I ever had, and this was with an agent in Newcastle who are great, they are really lovely, but they take everybody on, so they've got a lot of people on their books, but they are really lovely. And I ended up getting a charity gig actually, and from that charity gig I was on a billboard in the middle of Northumberland Street in Newcastle, massive big billboard. I was in the cinema, I was on leaflets, it was all over. I was in my work as a cop, and I was going into doctor's surgery collecting medical notes from people, and I went in, there was posters of me all over the wall. I mean, I was a bit like,
What people do, like a double take, like?
Had sunglasses on my head, I just kind of went like that and put them on. But it was a charity gig for getting people back into work. But it was an advert on at the cinema, it was on mainstream TV, it was posters, billboards, and it was really good. And then I ended up getting like the Ken Loach speaking one, and then loads of cop dramas. I've been a cop in so many different TV shows because
you want to get away from it, though, don't you?
That? I still enjoy doing it, but I do. I like to play other characters as well.
I mean, the Psycho bit you did was just phenomenal. It really was.
Because you're going to do a prison drama, aren't you?
I was just going to mention that. Then we are definitely still doing that. We're doing the stuff we've been shooting today before this podcast. As you know, that's for the cancer film.
Yeah, which is a great cause.
Beyond My Law Man. Thank you for that, by the way, with everybody else as well. Yeah. But I think next year's project for me is the women's prison film. For my sins, my guilty secret. You know, men always have one guilty secret, and it's all kinds of weird and wonderful stuff. Mine is watching Prisoner Cell Block H.
Right.
I'm a huge fan of Cell Block H. And I mean, creepy almost, because there's 692 episodes.
Bloody hell. You know.
And I've watched all of them 4 times.
Bloody hell, but who's counting there?
In a run. And it's so bad, it's good. And what I appreciate about it the most is the sets are like this. They're wooden, like this. So they have wobbly walls and all this going on. With all that going on, some of the acting is fucking phenomenal. It really is. Brilliant, some of it. I mean, there's some dross on there as well, don't get me wrong. Have you watched it?
You know, maybe a little bit back in the day, but I remember Shirley off EastEnders with the spiky hair. She looked like a badass bitch, didn't she? Yeah. I like them kind of characters.
Yeah, but I mean, Cell Block H, obviously it's Australian. In Melbourne, it was shot in a place called Nunawading in Australia. I'm a real geek for this stuff.
She was in EastEnders, so she's London. She's
Who was?
Cockney. Oh, man.
No, I'm talking about Prisoner Cell Block H.
I think she was in that, though. I'm sure she was. Shirley, she was called on EastEnders. That's my guilty pleasure, EastEnders.
Is it really?
Yeah. Wow. Do you know I would travel to London and go on that and just do the littlest role in that because it's my guilty pleasure. I love it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
okay, I'm taking the hint. But Cell Block H, I'm weirdly obsessed with it. There's fan groups all over the world, believe it or not.
Right.
And it's it's inspired me because it ended quite abruptly. And for me, there was too many loose ends.
Right.
And I've actually got friends that were in it, and it stopped filming 40 years ago.
Really?
Finished filming 40 years ago. I think they just had the 40th anniversary in Australia, so... But I've become personal friends with some of them who have actually invited me to come over and show me the set, and I'm that geeky about it all. It's filmed in the same area as Neighbours.
I loved Neighbours and Home and Away back in the day.
I didn't like stuff like that, but something about Cell Block H, because it was pioneering, it was groundbreaking, because the women were, no disrespect ladies, was far from beautiful. You know, there was some real rough ass women in that, you know, with the dungarees on and all of that.
Dungarees! I've got dungarees. Paul's got dungarees. He looks like a hillbilly, but I can borrow them.
I'm not going to do the dungaree thing, but I'm definitely going to do a women's prison film.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have you as the top dog.
Oh, yeah, I hope I'm going to hold you to this, mind.
Yeah, I'm saying it on camera.
You're saying it on camera?
The top dog
as a battery battery ran out though.
No.
Better not.
They're plugged in. Yeah, take it on camera.
Yeah.
Nikki was Coppock. Nikki Marshall
was Coppock. This is for me.
He's going to be playing the top dog in my women's prison film. And you've got
Love it.
You can keep
Can
this
I go back
now.
on your word now?
No, I don't want to.
Don't cut this bit, mind.
I think because the way you did the psycho bit scene, I decided that as I was behind the camera in this very room where we did it, I decided there and then this is my top dog for the film.
Oh, well, I'm happy with that.
And also the hooker scene that you did when you was the madam of a brothel, do you remember?
I remember.
Was just over there.
Yeah, that was over there.
so when I saw them two scenes, I thought, yeah, this is my top dog for sure.
Oh, well, I'm well impressed with that.
Well, in Cell
and I'm
Block
definitely
8,
going to hold you to it.
You can.
Hold you to it, I should say.
Well, in Cell Block 8, it was a lady called B. Smith was the original.
Right.
The character
I'm going to go
B.
back
Smith.
and do a bit of research and watch it.
Yeah, it's just...
Well, after my karaoke night, I'm going to.
Yeah. Well, as I say, because it was very run and gun, it was very quick fire.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think they were doing something like 15-hour days and doing 30 scenes a day, and you know, there was so much going on. But with all that in mind, so I swear down, some of the actresses were just brilliant. You know, under them circumstances, to still be able to get it, give it what they did. I'm so impressed with them. I love them to bits.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
It's just getting to the nitty gritty, isn't it? And just this is it, because you're not acting if you just do it and
you've got to feel it.
Yeah, and like I say, I love doing the police stuff because it gets his work. So that's great. It is great.
Yeah.
But it's not really getting your teeth into a character.
No, there's nothing better, I think.
That.
In the past, when I played like a vampire on one thing and a gangster on another, and to be able to get a character from the beginning of the film and actually develop your own character.
Yeah, I love it.
Really fall into I'm a method actor the same as you. So I was instructed by the director, James. Hi, James. To play deadpan.
Right.
And I had to, I'm very expressive when I speak, a bit like yourself. And he didn't want a single movement in my face. I had to, because I was 2,000 years old.
Right.
And I had to play.
You look all right for it, like, you're looking good.
Well, most people said, yeah, you can see it, but that's another story.
I've got to keep you on side. I'm your top dog, remember?
So he said to me, play it as, I don't want the slightest movement in your face. I want you to look cold and emotionless in every single way. And it was a lot harder to do than I realised. To take that direction, and I'd be talking away and I'd do the slightest little movement and he'd go, no, nothing. And then I managed to master it, but the only way I managed to master it was walking around at home all day long, because we were shooting for months. Right. In the same way. And my daughter Beth used to say, Dad, you're not Marcus. My character was called Marcus. For God's sake, smile. You know, but it, and then it came out and the reviews was, who's that guy? He's wooden as hell because there's no emotion on his face.
You're like, oh, can it win? Can it win?
So when you just stop trying to win. I enjoyed the process. The film didn't come out too well in the end, if I'm honest, but that's life. Yeah, but it was a good experience. Good. That's what it's all about. Yeah, enjoying the experiences. So I'm desperate to do the women's prison thing. I'm desperate for you to do it. But there's all kinds of storylines, and I didn't realise this until the time. Prison films, generally, I like them anyway, and something about the power exchange and all of that. But with women's prison, it creates problems for the prisoner that a man probably wouldn't experience. I think I've spoken to a lot of people about this, and in male prisons in real life, one of the biggest concerns is the lack of sex. Right. That's not really the case for women's prisons. It is, but it's nowhere near as high up the priority list. I mean, you get a lot of people saying that they're jail bent. Is that correct? Yeah. All that. So, but the biggest concern for women when they're incarcerated is, what do you think it would be? Periods, probably. The children. HMT. The children. HRT, yeah. I think I'm menopausal, that's why my brain's all over. They worry about the children, whereas men don't seem to mention them until way down the list. Right. You know, well, the kind of people I put in prison worry about children, but in a different way. So. They're right where they need to be then. Exactly. Yeah. And I'm not detracting because I'm an advocate for male rights when it comes to custody of children. I've been through the battles myself. I've had Michael on here who runs a charity called the falsely accused network, and that's for men that have been accused of violence that they haven't done.
Yeah.
The woman's taking it as a weapon to keep him away from the children.
Yeah, I don't like that. I have seen that before.
Yeah, it does happen.
Yeah,
it does
it's
happen.
not good.
Yeah. Well,
no one should use a child as a tool.
No, but he's got no shortage of people that have come along, men that have been accused of all kinds of crimes.
Yeah.
And been locked up as well, on remand or whatever, because they've had some previous stuff unconnected. And they get found not guilty, and there's no consequences for the woman. She just say it as it's a no-lose situation.
Yeah,
there's no incentive to not do it. And I've heard there's a couple of solicitors not far from here, actually in Cheshire, that actively encourage women to accuse them. And they actually give them the idea of saying, listen, if you say this about him, then we'll get an injunction like that. And the one in particular in mind, I'm not going to name anybody for obvious reasons, but they were going along just fine for a year and a half.
Yeah,
shared custody and all the weekends, and there was no issues at all until he got another girlfriend.
Right.
At that moment, Mum said, "You're not taking the kids anymore."
Well, they need to be looking at the bigger picture, don't they?
Of course they do.
They need to be looking at why,
the
timing and everything.
Yeah. So in a year's time, in 5 years' time, apart from your retirement, where do you want to be, Nick?
Oh, well, do you know what? I love my house that I've got, because we bought an old house and done it up, so it's still, unfortunately, in the stages of getting done up.
Come on, Paul, get your finger out, mate.
Paul, God love you, I love you, but bloody hell, you don't finish anything. That is so true. They say a builder's house is never finished. So hopefully in 6 years' time when I retire, it will be finished. But I'm still going to be doing me acting. I've got a little caravan as well that I hire out, I rent out, and I like having weekends up there.
Oh, you have a static, don't you?
Yeah.
In Northumbria?
So, in Northumberland, yeah.
Northumberland, if you're looking for a caravan, give Nikki a shout.
And then I've got my rescue ferrets that are adopted.
Oh,
which are really cute. Noodle and Murdoch.
Noodle and Murdoch. Hello, Noodle and Murdoch.
They're lush, they're lovely.
Oh.
Katie named them after the Gorillaz singers. So, and then I've got my kids, which are grown and doing their own thing now, really.
Well, you mentioned the ferrets first, but anyway.
Yeah, no. Well, they're my babies now. They need us. The kids don't need us anymore at that stage. Yeah.
So you're generally a happy person.
Oh yes, I've got a great life. I love it. I just want to keep on plugging on with the acting. I really do love that.
Well, rest assured, as I tell everybody, I know it's quiet, but we are plugging away daily.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
We really are.
No, I love that. So, and I had a holiday at the Maldives this year, so I had a luxurious holiday. So that was lush. So I feel like I've got a good balanced work-life balance as well.
Yeah. Well, the other thing you're famous for, Nick, is amongst your friends, that is
saving kids from rivers. Were you going to say, or
loads
of drowning people? Actually, because I'm always in the bloody water.
Well, I was thinking more about your karaoke career.
Oh, okay.
We've all heard of the singing detective, haven't we? This podcast is going to be named the non-singing detective.
Quite rightly so.
The best description I ever heard of someone that sings like Nikki does was by Billy Connolly, when he said, "The voice sounds like a goose farting in the fog."
No one's ever said that, but
it's don't give up the acting is all I can say.
Practice makes perfect. I'm going to keep practicing.
Look her up on Facebook. Nikki Marshall was Coppock, and just go through the videos and see lots of drunken karaoke moments. And let's say Elton John's got nothing to worry about just yet. But what you are always, when I see you anyway, you're always happy, you're always smiling, joking.
Most of the time, yeah.
Especially when you're at a festival with Paul or singing on a karaoke. You do look blitzed half the time.
I love it. I love dressing up as well in different themes at the festivals. But
he's a lucky man, is Paul, isn't
not that kind of dressing up.
Ross,
Different medieval themes, all sorts of different themes. But well, I'm going to a karaoke tonight, but I'll make a promise that I'll try not to do any drunken live videos tonight.
Well, no, I'll be waiting for it tonight.
Oh, have you?
Well, I will be waiting for it tonight.
Do you know what you said to me, though? When I'd only been on your books for a little while, registered with yourself, and I was like, I come up for a meeting. I came up for an audition for Parallels, and left thinking about, should I join the agency? And you asked us to join everything and all of this, and I joined, and then you left us a subtle little note saying, if I had seen your live videos, your karaoke, I wouldn't have been offering you representation, and I'll never offer you representation with anything to do with singing in it.
Yeah, well, that's a fair comment, though, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure to have you with us, Nick. That's the truth. It really is, and it's we have every confidence in you. The industry is absolutely on its arse.
I know.
And everyone
I
will tell you
appreciate
the
that.
same.
Yeah.
It's not recovered from COVID yet, I don't believe. And if you're anything like any of the other actors, and myself included, it is a little bit galling sometimes when you're watching 3 programmes on the TV and they've all got the same actors in them.
Yeah.
And what about the rest of us,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. But as now a filmmaker, on a smaller scale, fair enough, but it's I kind of understand it a little bit more, because people are so bloody flaky.
Yeah.
And actors and actresses, I'm sorry to say, a lot of them, they just talk a good game and they do absolutely nothing to back it up.
Yeah.
They won't invest in themselves, and they won't, they don't turn up. They just don't show.
That's
And
bad.
it's just, I mean, if you can't show for an audition, how the hell can anybody say, I'm happy to put you forward for things?
Yeah.
Because I'm just not.
Yeah.
You need people. You've driven 2.5 hours, 3 hours today to get here.
Oh, always a pleasure. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're doing the cancer film,
Yeah.
which is a voluntary thing. You've done that. You're now doing this. You've got to go all the way back. You're going to go and do your karaoke bit later on, hopefully. Look out for it.
Actually, give us a song and then I'll sing it for you the night.
All right.
Depends how many vodkas in I am, though.
Right, I'm going to find a song. Let me think of a song.
I actually don't, I'll let you into a secret, I don't normally sing in public. This is the thing, I'm quite shy and reserved, you might not believe. But,
Reserved?
Well, with the singing side of things, it's just when I've had a few drinks and I can't stop. And for some reason I start thinking I'm not as bad as I am, and then I start doing the dancing, and I don't know what's worse, the singing or the dancing, but together it's a nightmare.
Can you do Might As Well Jump?
Oh, I can't, because I work with a lot of negotiators.
Oh, of course you do, sorry.
And a lot of the knackers go past playing Van Halen Jump, so I'd rather not do that one.
Yeah, fair enough. Because I always heard it as Maxwell Jumped. Remember he jumped off his boat? That Peter Kay thing where they do the misheard lyrics.
Right.
I always heard that as Maxwell Jumped.
Oh, did you? I always hear lyrics wrong.
Have you seen the Peter Kay bit?
No,
watch it.
haven't.
It's on YouTube. It's phenomenally funny.
Right.
It's really good. Because there's a little bit of kind of, if you like, memory association with it. Because once he tells you what he wants you to hear,
you keep hearing it.
Somehow or other you just hear it. There's a thing from Shania Twain, I think it was.
Yeah, like Shania Twain.
And the one of the lines in the song is, I can't believe you kiss your car goodnight.
I can't believe you kiss your car at night.
Yeah,
I know the song.
But watch it back with him, because he makes it, and he tells you what, and once he said it, that's how you hear it. I can't believe you kiss your cock at night, it sounds like. And
it's definitely cock.
It really does sound like it. I'm like, whoa. And now I can't hear anything else.
You'd have to be very flexible, wouldn't you?
Well, he actually says that straight away afterwards. He said, I can't even see mine, I might kiss it. Because Peter Kay's
I
a
haven't seen it. Do you know the song, though, Too Shy Shy? I shouldn't be singing.
How shy do I?
I always thought it was Shoe Shine Shine. I really did, and I thought it doesn't make sense, but that's what I thought it was.
Well, he has another one, begging you for birdseed. Begging you for birdseed. You can't hear it any other fucking way.
Oh God, begging you for birdseed. Oh God.
Have a look at it. I recommend it to everybody, actually. Peter Kay, misheard lyrics. It's really funny.
I'll have to have a look at that.
Yeah, good. So, okay, we're probably going to leave it there, Nick, if that's okay.
Yes, it's been great.
Thank you so much for coming and sharing some of your stories. It's always interesting. It's always windswept and interesting to see you. So, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for having us.
Will you come and do it again sometime?
If you'll have us back, yeah.
Absolutely, of course we will, yeah.
Can have a little vino next time.
You could, you see, I was planning to maybe bring Paul with you just for safety. And he could drive as well. You could have a couple of Vinos and then we'll really get some stuff out
that would be good. Yeah, you may have to edit that one though after.
And we might even get you to do a karaoke number on it as well.
Oh, I definitely need alcohol then for that.
Yeah, we'll get you a Vino or two and do us a song. I want to think of a song before you go.
A song? Give us a song. An easy one, like.
An easy one. What about... there was a house in New Orleans. What's it called?
Rising Sun.
Rising Sun, yeah.
Right, okay.
Will you do Rising Sun?
Yeah, I'll do the Rising Sun.
Will you dedicate it to me?
I'll dedicate it to you, Phil.
That's it, I've arrived. That's it, I'm complete.
I'll be singing it all the way home to Blooming Newcastle, practising. I've got 3 hours to practice.
And just so you know, and just so all the viewers know, on Sunday, for an hour and a half, I'm a Newcastle United fan. Because I don't want Liverpool to win it at all. You make sure you do the business due Jordis with your shirts off. All right, thanks, Nick.
Thanks, Phil.
Right,
nice to see you again.
Right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.